Hi Subbu, good to have you with me. And I just heard you talk about digital transformation and with a specific reference to what I call the Indian hinterland or the SMEs. Now this is where like going into the kitchen instead of just a restaurant. So I need to know what it means to get your hands dirty in transforming the small and medium enterprises in India from a digital point of view, because we generally believe that Indian SMEs are a little unorganized, so some of them even don't like transparency, getting a bit naughty here. So tell us about how does the market look to you from where you are?
Sure. So Madhavan, thank you for coming in here and being present for this launch of Transformation Express. You asked a very pertinent question. How are mid-market organizations adopting technology when that never used to be the case in the past? I'll give you a few data points. The first one is that technology today is not the prerogative of large enterprises anymore. Thanks to the democratization because of cloud. Today, cloud helps you start small. It helps you grow fast. It can also help you fail and restart very quickly. So cloud has kind of changed the dynamics. What earlier smaller companies used to believe that technology is very expensive is no longer what is the current thought. Today, every organization is a digital enterprise and also believes that technology is for everyone, right? So that's it. Moving on to my point two, when we started interacting with mid-market organizations way back, we've done 25 years in the country now, the scenario is exactly as you explained, right? Do I need more transparency? Do I need a solution at all? Is it going to be too much for me to take on a company like SAP, a solution like SAP? That is not what we see today. Today, there are increasing requests from organizations that they want to go down the digital transformation route, not just to digitize their core. Our customers are asking us for customer experience and employee experience from day one, right? Mid-market organizations are insisting on transparency and insisting on an audit trail inside, right? Because they want to focus on export customers. And when you want to focus on export customers, transparency is critical.
Compliance.
Compliance.
Yeah.
And also giving visibility to your customers about your current status, invoicing and billing. So when you have to be professional, you got to you've got to move away from your past established thoughts. So what we're seeing is demolishment and breaking out of all that we've seen in the past from a stereotyping standpoint. Today, a small enterprise thinks like a large enterprise.
Leapfrogs.
Completely leapfrog. The difference is, while decisions in the large enterprise still are made by levels below the board, the small enterprises are still decided at the promoter level.
So you have a dashboard straight for them. Yeah.
Yes. So we go in and to most of these organizations, we go in and show them the value SAP can bring to their business specifically, right? How it can transform you in the coming months from a finance standpoint, AR standpoint, from a customer acquisition standpoint, and that appeals to the promoter of the organization.
Okay, but let me get a little more deeper in this, because traditionally SAP has been known for automating what was historically a known function, sales, marketing, or HR, or finance, everything. But right now we are entering the age of AR and VR and metaverse. Do these things make any sense to the mid-sized, mid-market companies? If so, how do you tell them? I mean, in terms of being in a competitive place. Does this kind of innovation matter to them in terms of a threat or an opportunity? How do you figure that out?
So, first point, this innovation comes naturally to the digital natives, to the startup ecosystem. Most of our established best practices are challenged by these startups today. When we see new disruptive startups come up, they are not in the same industry or the same processes that we have seen in the past. We are currently talking to a few startups that's an amalgamation of best practices from a few industries.
So best born in the cloud kind of a company. Yeah.
All these are digital natives born in the cloud, and what they're trying to disrupt is not what we've seen in the past. So their requirements are not just core digitization. Their requirements are, how do I create an industry or a practice which was not there in the past, which is new to us as well. So we get challenged on a daily basis.
That becomes like a virtual company in that sense. Yeah, so virtualization of the completely a substantial part of the business.
And the business model changed many times in the life cycle within a short span. So when a startup comes to us, they want to challenge us into how we can be a trusted advisor for them going forward. and then there's a huge funding that happens, and new business models come up. So we have seen this AI, ML, IoT, OCR, optical character recognition, IoT come up hugely from the digital natives, also from traditional small and medium enterprises. What we now see are three steps. One is innovation, two is integration, and the third one is analytics. Right?
Okay.
So when you say integration, that involves a broad spectrum of technologies. When you say analytics, it's structured and unstructured data both. So even traditional SMB companies are going beyond just core digitization.
I understand. But I'm going to now take you back, because it's easier to understand startups and new business models and stuff, because they're like, as you said, digital natives.
Yeah.
But how about traditional companies? You mentioned promoters wanting control. But even those companies now, some of them have real global presence, like a chemical exports that competes with China.
Right.
So is there a special way that you address mid-market companies in this kind of a business, where you have, say, dad handing it over to the son or daughter, and then it's got to go digital, but it's never been really digital? Do you handle that kind of a challenge?
Oh yes. But the engagement methodology has not changed in the last few years. The engagement methodology is still based on the business value that technology can provide to the organization. Okay. What has changed is extracting value out of the solution that we offer, and that value need not be better implementation. It's about what more beyond SAP that we can do. So what we do is we work with a lot of our partners, our ecosystem partners, that develop solutions on top of SAP as well, that adds value to specific.
I thought so. In fact, I had a question on that. I wanted to know specifically about how big and how diverse is your ecosystem partners.
So we have about 600 partners in the country that are delivery as well as sales. We curate a few labs inside our SAP engineering team, where startups can come and brainstorm and develop new solutions along with us. So we have a startup ecosystem where we promote newer technologies, but that's outside of the 600, and that's an ever-growing number. So we have done a few hackathons in the recent past, where we've encouraged our partners to develop on top of our business technology platform on these three areas that I said: integration, extension, analytics. And when new solutions come up on these, there is an immediate adoption in the market.
So it's like the Apple ecosystem or an Android.
Exactly.
Except that it's a very enterprise kind of an ecosystem, but in which you can even, the ecosystem partner can guide, sitting between the customer and the SAPs.
So I will say it's the ideate, build, monetize cycle.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? And when you want to monetize, we actually promote some of our partner applications on the SAP store. Right?
Oh, that's very good. So my question about, it's a lot like your iOS for grown-ups.
Yes.
With a business orientation, but you have a ready-made ecosystem where third-party people, partners, companies, consultants can come in and they hold the hands of.
So there are 3 levels of certification for partner apps to be on the SAP store. In recent times, in the most recent quarter, we saw a surge of sales happening through the SAP store. So there's a lot of traffic being driven to the SAP store. Newer applications are coming up, and that's more enriching and value adding for our SMB prospects. So we not only sell through traditional channels, we also started to see a lot of revenue come through our store.
Yeah, I guess that's much, because some people can only think their domain. They cannot think the technologies, but the people in the middle help figure that out more carefully. Thanks so much, Subbu. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Pleasure, Madhavan.
Do come into the frame, as we say.
Thank you.
Express once again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.